Hello, welcome to a sketchbook that has been ongoing for over a year at this point. We are nearing the end, so let's finish it in this video. Some of the footage you will see was actually recorded during a live stream, so if there is a conversation topic that ends up going nowhere, it's more than likely a stream topic that made its way into the video. But I hope you enjoy the highlights of the live stream and also finishing off the last few pages afterwards. If you're watching this video around the time it comes out, I hope you had a really good Christmas and we'll have a happy new year for 2025. As a memorial, I think you should draw the mums. The culling hasn't even happened yet. I will say, one of the props that could be designed is a necklace or like a accessory piece that is gifted to Ronan. So I think at first I'm just going to start drawing like shells and stuff just to like get a feel and like warm up. I mean, at the moment I'm drawing the conch shell, which I think even though it wouldn't be the like main thing for Coralyn's necklace, I do think that a conch shell definitely would exist within Akrel lore. Is this exactly like the reference image? Absolutely not. I am butchering the proportions of this. It's like it's been stretched. Why does it look like a sandwich? Oh, something I also want to show you guys. I got this set from TikTok shop, and that's what I'm using. Let's do the starfish next. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I was like drawing stuff from reference for the Instagram Designs Euroseas thing. I would draw like it from reference first to get a feel of how it is. So say like the eel for Elias, using some of the features from the reference that I drew, I would incorporate it into the sketch. I was thinking another thing that I could do for a live stream is I've got to clean up my portfolio. Like, I am terrible at keeping my portfolio up to date. I wish there was more hours in a day, or the fact that I could do multiple things at once. But yeah, as for my portfolio, I have several stuff in there that I should have taken out years ago. There's stuff from my college days, from like the very start of my channel, that are still in there. Also, I don't know whether anybody else feels like this, but do you feel like in the moment when you're drawing stuff, you absolutely hate it, but when you're flipping back through your sketchbook or like through your digital files, you're like, I really like that. I'm so glad I drew that. Because that's me right now. But yeah, doesn't this look like the same colour as like a Cola Rays pencil? Because it does remind me of a Cola Rays pencil. I'm working up to drawing character props, and I'm drawing for my Mermaid Kingdom Akrel in my character universe, so drawing from reference really does like help me. I really want to do more character design content. Like that is something I really want to do, because like characters are my thing. Oh crap. I was pressing too hard on the pencil. What can I say? I'm heavy-handed. And sometimes I find the best work can come with like an unsharpened pencil. Rip. Oh. I hope I'm not ruining the picture underneath this one. Oh. I think I kinda am. Because it's like printing the starfish. Oops. Do I need to do all this detail on there? No. Do I want to? Yes, kind of. Is it just compulsive? Absolutely. I do that all the time. In terms of skipping a page. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but like, I've been seeing all like the doll creation videos from Moonlight Jewel about VTubers, and I'm just like, designing characters? Imagine if I could design for a VTuber? Like, I am holding back. I'm an obsessive person. As soon as I let myself loose, it's over. It's over for my attention span. I have myself on a leash, like a toddler. God, why does this remind me of being in uni? Because, to be honest, my brain is wired to think if I haven't got a purpose for anything, then it's useless to me. Line work is a mixed bag for me, depending on what pen I'm using. Like, if it's a pen I hate, it's over. For me, I think it definitely depends on the day as well. Like, some days I can have like a really good line work day, and then there's other days where my hand is like all over the shop. That's the only thing with using an eraser. My camera starts shaking. Wait. I have my watercolours. The ones I made. I could use those, see if they work on top of these. Well, they haven't fully dried in the pans yet, to be fair. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the pigments have separated, because I don't think I mould these correctly. Yes, I do have a video of making watercolours for the first time in my drafts. And it is an experience making watercolours of your own. Oh. Why is it repelling the paper? I thought I mould this more. I mould this. Why is it repelling the paper? I'm so confused why it's repelling the paper the way it is. Why? I'm so confused. Why is this, like, rejecting water? This shouldn't be rejecting water. These are watercolours. I'm confused. Maybe there's too much mica powder in there. I don't know. It's like it's rejecting the paper. It's like, Does the other one do that? Like, I made 3 separate colours. Yep, this one's doing it too. I'm so confused. I mulled this for like so long. And it was doing fine. What am I doing wrong? I was just winging it for majority of it. I still need to edit that video, to be fair. I filmed the entire process of me making watercolours for the first time, and oh. It was an experience. I have the swatch sheets from like over here. I think this was like the very first swatch of the purple, and I was like, oh, I need it to be mulled a lot more. My mind is interpreting like this reference image. Like there's like a ring. It's the very first one that I saved off in my character props Pinterest board. but that image has like one of a ring, and the way my mind is interpreting this is like with like a turtle head and like little arms. I have no idea whether it's like interpreting, like my mind is interpreting that wrong. My brain is cooking now. Like it's starting to cook its own ideas, which is what we like to see. You got like flippers. Very impractical stuff, but like, hey, it's a fictional universe. I can do whatever the hell I please. Design first, practicality second. Was this what I had in mind when filling my sketchbook up? No, absolutely not. I did that thing where what I did not want to do. I put my hand in the paint and I smudged it. No. I'm also going to be using some Scrawlrbox stuff from like previous boxes. Have I completely messed this up? Probably. Usually line work most of the time messes things up. I don't mind the paint getting on my sleeve, I guess. At least a little bit. I'm left-handed. Everything will get everywhere. I should be used to this. Also, this feels a bit like blasphemy, using a watercolour sketchbook, but without watercolouring in it. I don't know whether you can tell what kind of shell this is. Like, honestly, I do not know the name of the shell, but like, this kind of shell is on this necklace, and it looks like that. Kind of looks like shark teeth, a little bit. And I kind of like that look for a character prop. And one of the suggestions was like sea glass, and then this came up in sea glass. Little turtles made of sea glass. There are necklaces that look like manta rays. Okay. I'm overthinking it again. Brain. Ramble about OCs? What exactly about OCs? You can't be so vague. You have to be more specific. Anything tragic planned for The Sims? Well, you know that the acrylic culling is coming. I mean, there's future stuff with like Avis that is planned as well. I keep misplacing the sharpener. Like the lead sharpener. I mean, the reference that I have in front of me has like pearls like scattered all over this thing. I'll just put some string on either side. Constantly feel like I'm not going quick enough. My brain wants me to do things at like many miles an hour. What kind were you thinking of? I'm curious, because I'm always interested to see what people would want me to do for them. if I was to like be more open. There are like variants of art commissions that I'm considering, but I've just got to figure out like a format for them if I was to ever do them. Like teaching to paint. I feel wholly unqualified to do that personally. I mean, I don't really do tutorials all that much, to be fair. Because a lot of the time when I do my art process, I tend to like wing it. I don't plan things out. I just go with the flow, and I mean, I'm not against doing tutorials, but like at the same time, I guess in myself, I don't feel qualified to do that. The one thing I really want to do is like character references. But I have so many characters that I'm like, which one do I do first? And I know for a fact that I get halfway through a character reference, I start getting my brain starts getting bored and then just like transferring over to the next one. Like, this is why. How many OCs do you have? I don't know the exact amount. I have a lot. I know that. But when I was looking over my family tree that I have on Family Echo, it was telling me that in the family tree, it had 258 spaces. Like, it had 258 people in it. So, there is a base answer. Is it all of them? No, I don't think it is. At all. But that's how many are just in the family tree at this current moment in time. And that's over multiple generations. Those are just the ones that are connected as well. You have ones that are also completely unrelated. I don't keep count. I only know that number because Family Echo was keeping track of that. Do you have a toy house? I do, but I don't update it. I think I put about 3 or 4 characters on there, and then I've done that thing again where I don't draw it on the right part of the page, and there's not enough space to continue it. Sad times. I'm just letting my pencil wander around the paper, to be fair, with this design. I'm not even like planning anything with this. I'm liking the way that this design is looking. It's nice. Also, I don't usually draw like prop kind of stuff. I mean, I did on this page, but that was mainly for Loca. And that was mainly because like I was doing like game design kind of stuff. I really like this design specifically. I like the idea of like the necklace having charms on it. Like beads. I like the idea of like a string. Ooh, I kind of like this design. So it's like a glass bead. So I kind of imagine this being sea glass, and like it's wrapped with like twine around it. Or like it's got rope around it. Looks a bit like an egg. Wait, I was going to use Scrawlerbox stuff, but I've just been sketching for like the last 2.5 hours. Well, I would say more like 2 hours, because I spent the first like 25 minutes, half an hour, just on Pinterest scrolling. I'm trying to figure out what colours would be like the best for this. Is it best with like a 2B pencil as like the main thing underneath? under this? No. No, it's not. I will say, I have had Karen brush pens before, but like they weren't these type. So these actually have like the bristles. Oh god. Trying to focus this camera. Like they have the bristles. I am so sorry for my horrible nails. I'm riddled with anxiety, so the nails are like the first to go. If you've ever used watercolour brush pens, they're essentially those. Actually, I think this would be better than the Copic markers for the effect that I'm trying to achieve on this thing. So, you can get way cheaper watercolour brush pens, which are essentially the same quality. I have the Kuretake Zig ones as well as the Chroma ones, I think. But you can also like layer them and get like a much more vivid colour. Like that. I'm just using a bunch of different like random supplies. Okay, this one did bleed through a little bit, but alcohol markers do that. Wouldn't expect anything less. I think I'm going to try and spice this design up a little bit with like the red and the blue. Because sometimes limited colours can actually really help bring out different things with a design. Art takes time. I think over the years, like, I used to really not care. Like, I used to stream everything and, like, if it took longer, that's fine. But I think over time, like, the want to get things done really quickly and the want to, like, speed up, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just something, it's like brain chemistry messing with me. I will say, I really like layering these pencils. I think I really need to get into pencil crayon. I don't need to buy any more pencil crayons because I have them from like ages ago. I have like Prismacolors and Polychromos from like ages ago, from like Christmases gone by. I just need to use them. The camera is making that look a lot nicer than it actually is. Am I going a bit overboard? Yes. Yes, I am. I kind of want to draw Coraline wearing it. Or at least, like, wearing something. I think I'm going through a stage where I'm hating it. And I know that it's like, you shouldn't hate your artwork. But I usually hate it so early on that I just don't want to continue it, if that makes sense. And that's like an awful mentality. I don't know why it happens, just I get the ick for a piece. I have to try and push through it to get it to a place where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to continue with this. I'm currently feeling rusty. Oh, that is wonky. Oh, I sense the wonk. It's like, in the moment, when you're drawing it, you absolutely loathe it. Like, you hate it. But then months later, when you're looking back, you're like, yeah, I like this. I'm trying to think of, like, what's a page in the moment I hated that I'm like, yep. Yeah, I think it was this one, like, this particular one. In the moment, I was hating it. Because I'd never drawn an owl before. I was attempting to draw an owl. But look at how cute. Oh. And do you ever redraw something and you're like, I liked it better the first time? That is me with the picture that was like the other side of that owl drawing. Yeah. And to make it worse, like that like the original of that drawing is on my business card. So the fact that I like the one, like the older one better, you're like, oh. Oh, Coraline becomes a siren later, after an event in the story. What we like to call the Akrel culling. Or in Sims terms, the population control of Akrel. The culling. It's thought that Coraline actually dies. Like, Coraline, is a character I'm drawing right now. She is actually the crown princess. And during the culling, what happens to her, she gets turned into a siren. And she becomes bloodthirsty to the point where she stays away from her family. Like, people think she's dead. Like, that's... Now, originally, she was actually, like, going to, like, fully die in the story, but I like the idea that she's just hiding out. Like, she does not want to hurt her family at all. But because of that, her son, Ronan, becomes crown prince. And he's a baby! So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place there within the story. Yup, you love some good angst in a story.
Emotional damage!
And my stories are full of it. Marriner is full of angst. Filled to the brim. It's funny because I'm either, like, this is spoiler territory. Because obviously the culling, in terms of the story, hasn't even happened yet. We also love a good spoiler. I'm pretty sure I gave Coraline pointed ears. The art juices are kind of flowing. And sometimes it's the art juices that determine when the stream ends. I like the idea of Coraline having a long nose. Because normally what I would do is I would, like, pull up the nose a little bit. I kind of like the idea. I kind of like that part of her design. To be honest, when it comes to my Sims, like, and their genetics, like, I don't really change them all that much. I mean, I do circumvent the Sims' awful habit of, like, shrinking the chin into nothing. But apart from that, I don't really do too much with it. I just let their genetics be. You know what's really interesting? Like, oh my god. You know what I just realised? The sticker design of Coraline. She has dark pupils. Like, the sclera of her eyes, sorry. Who else has that? Mallory. Holy shit. That was a complete coincidence, but oh my god. It was foretold. I will say, in The Sims, something that I did not change about Melazine to her art design, and I wish I would have, I probably still can change it, at least a little bit, is, like, in her art design, she has more green in her, but she's more of, like, a paler pastel princess kind of thing. Some of the designs have, like, changed slightly, and then there's others that are, like, they're quite a bit different. Especially dependent on their Sims. I'd say the one that's the most outdated is probably Melazine's design. I don't know whether I did her as a sticker. I don't think she's part of the 8 set other Crown mermaids. Yeah, Marcy was born a siren. That's the sad part about Coraline. The fact that she can't control it at all. Oh god, this face looks so weird. I don't... this sketch, I'm not sure I like it. Am I having a moment of I hate this? Yes! Oh, this would definitely be smaller. Oops. I wasn't intending it to be like this big. Maybe drawing with like a thinner pencil might help. Because sometimes I draw pretty big with like a bigger leaded pencil. It helps get the smaller details when you do smaller lead. Oh, I do think that Ronan would also inherit her jewels as well. Ronan is a loaded baby. The one thing he doesn't get is, like, well, he does get love, but that love ends up not... How do I explain it? Yeah, he doesn't get his mom. And later on in life, like, even though he is the crown prince and, like, he is technically, like, loaded, due to other events happening at the same time, it causes his crush, like, who reciprocates his feelings. Like, they are both in love with each other. However, his crush can't be with him at that point in his life. Ronan's crush and subsequent love is Adrian, if that explains anything. So Adrian being Lucille and Brandon's second son. And because of Felix, Adrian is technically left to become somewhat of a crown prince. Because even though technically, like, they have Orion has literally just returned. Like, he is literally just back in the family fold at that point. Yeah, oh no is right. Orion and Felix, as toddlers within The Sims, like, they love each other way more than Adrian and Orion do. But later on, it does a 180. Like, Orion is closer with Adrian than he is with Felix later on. Yeah, Felix kind of screws things up. Felix is a whole mess. And don't even get me started with Kiyomi. Orion gets really, really mad at Felix because his actions have essentially broken up Adrian and Ronan, who have been friends since they were children, and then later something more. I like the idea of Coraline's necklace being, like, quite drapey. Like, it having drapes in between the beads. Maybe with, like, chains and stuff? I don't know. I don't know! I know in the artwork she has, like a scar going up her eye. God, it's been so long since I've drawn Coraline. I kind of like those, like, claw mouth shells. So then we have the last couple of pages of this sketchbook. I decided just to do them on my own outside of a live stream. Did I manage to finish them during a live stream? No! But I want to get them finished by the end of this year so I can start the new year on a new sketchbook. You can see on the left hand side that I actually managed to finish that picture of Coraline, and it came out so much better than I thought it would. So here you can see acrylic markers. I got these for Christmas. They are from the TikTok shop. They are the Guangna acrylic markers. I actually really like them. So much so that I ended up going on to TikTok shop after Christmas on the Boxing Day sale and getting the 168 set. I think I got the 36 set, and the only complaint I had throughout the entire thing was it needed more colours. It was lacking in darker colours that I couldn't quite get the contrast that I wanted, but other than that, they were great. I loved them. Of course, I've used acrylic pens before in many different brands, but I've never really experienced paint brush pens. And I got the similar feeling like I was using gouache, but in a less messy way. I don't know, it was so much fun, and I didn't have to worry about bleeding through the paper either. Oh my god, I don't know why, I fall in love with a new art supply, I think every year or so. Why am I like this? It's a very expensive obsession, plus I'm a hoarder of art supplies, so this is not helping. Someone should just take my phone away from me, because TikTok Shop is the latest brain-rotting disease in my mind. But yeah, I do have a little bit of explaining to do. After Inktober, I was actually supposed to ramp up doing content, like that was my plan. I was dead set on doing that, but life happened. There was burnout. I also agreed to dog sit for a week, and I've never dog sat in my life, so that was a learning curve. And plus, it was literally the week before Christmas, and we had no time to do anything. This year has just gone by so quickly. I didn't expect it to go this quickly. I think for 2025, the main goal will be to actually do a little bit of planning in advance and actually structure my day a little bit better. It's probably very obvious to people, but I'm not very organised. I have a lot of ideas and projects and just everything that's ongoing. It's not finished. I would definitely describe myself as a project magpie. I see something shiny, I'm there. At the beginning of 2024, I put myself on the exceedingly long waiting lists for both autism and ADHD diagnoses. It really wouldn't surprise me if both diagnoses, or even just one diagnosis, were confirmed, because I've suspected that about myself for a very long time at this point. Having a diagnosis is definitely not the be-all end-all, but I think it will help me be kinder to myself, because I always blame myself. At this point in the sketchbook, I had 2 pages left, and I had no idea what I wanted to do for it. But on my magnetic board in front of me as I'm drawing, I have this really old sketch from like 2013, 2014, and there's something about it I've just always really loved, so I thought I would redraw it with a different character. Now, I started to regret that as soon as I layered on the acrylic markers. It was just going wrong, like it was not looking right, it was rough. But I definitely think it did turn out okay in the end. It definitely has a different vibe to it than the original sketch, but this is my character Alessia, and she is a Cinder Ash princess. Cinder Ash being the Fire Kingdom. So of course I went for like this graphic style with the background. Did I go overboard? Yes. I think I definitely need to work out a technique with these markers, especially when I've only got limited colours, because I see so many people having such great results with like so limited colour palettes, especially when everything is like the same tone of colour. These markers work really well for cell shading, and I'm not really a cell shading kind of girly, so there is definitely going to be a learning curve with these for me. But I am willing to learn. These are very fun. Now we get on to the very last page of this sketchbook. I wanted it to be spectacular and just everything, so I thought I would take the plot lines that I've been talking about in the last few pages and just do kind of like a poster composition. I've seen all these poster compositions and I've tried to do this kind of thing before, but it's never ended up being a final piece. And Spoiler alert, this one doesn't end up being a final piece either, because there are some whack things going on with the proportions, but it is one of those things where if I decide to make it a proper composition later on, it's a great place to start. The first character I draw is Felix, then Kiyomi, then Adrian and Ronan. Then in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their little sister, Antonia. She's not born yet in the main timeline. And then right at the top, we have Orion. So I really wanted at least an element of each of their stories just intertwined in one image. And I knew after drawing at least 4 of the characters that I was like, this is going to be a nightmare to colour, especially in acrylic markers. So you have this really interesting look between the original sketch lines and the acrylic markers, making it pop. Line art could really make or break a piece, and I didn't want to break this piece at all, so I just left the sketch as is, in case I want to do something with it in the future. But adding the background with colour was just a fun little thing to make it pop. And just like that, the sketchbook is complete. Hope you stick around for the next video because it's going to be a sketchbook tour of this finished sketchbook. Now let's flip through all the pages that were done during this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's definitely a little bit different. Let me know if you like this video and I'll do more like this in the future. And for anyone watching this video up until this point, I would like to once again hope you all had a very Merry Christmas and are really enjoying the new year so far. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!